Hello everyone, today's video is all about how to love and embrace your naturally fair skin. Quite a while back, I made a video talking about skin tanning and skin whitening and how those two ideas sort of conflict with each other and how society views them. And I've gotten quite a number of comments on that video from girls who are fair and who says, thank you for making this video, thank you for bringing it up, and thank you for making me feel a little bit better about just being naturally very fair. And I think when I read those comments, I need to make a video sharing with you guys my own tips and tricks on how to embrace fair skin, because I'm naturally quite fair. I'm about a MAC NC 15 to NC 20. Quite fair on the foundation scale, but definitely not super porcelain skin. But I can certainly relate with a lot of beauty issues that fair skin girls may have, and I just want to put out there that fair skin, being pale, is just as beautiful as any other skin tone. Is just as beautiful as being bronzed and being tan. And really, if you love your fair skin and you want to keep it fair, there is absolutely no reason to conform to tanning and making yourself darker, to conform to the idea of being bronzed is the only way to beauty. I think beauty is always universal, but there certainly lacks a lot of discussion on how to embrace fair skin, and I want to do that for you guys today, for those who are just, well, naturally pale, just like me. So number one, when it comes to any skin tone, skincare is always incredibly important, because once you have healthy, beautiful skin, everything else that you're putting on top of the makeup, whatnots, is just to enhance that beauty you already have. For me, I think there's a couple of key points to really take note when you have fair skin. Number one, you want to make sure your sun protection is up to standard, and number two, you want to make sure that you're using products to treat any hyperpigmentation or scarring or dark marks that you may have. I personally find that pale skin marks and scars much easier than slightly darker skin tones, probably because there's such a contrast between any sort of marks and scarring and your naturally fair skin, so they become extra obvious. And I'm always a little bit self-conscious whenever I have an acne mark or a pimple that's just gone away and I have this blistering red or dark mark on my face. So I know there's lots of products you can find right now on the market that helps to brighten up your skin or to whiten your skin. Now, first off, I use these two terms quite interchangeably: skin whitening, skin brightening, but by no means do I mean skin bleaching. No one of any skin tone should ever bleach their skin. So let's just get that out of the way. What I'm talking about are products, skincare products that help to illuminate your skin, to dissolve any dark marks, to help fade scarring, and to help just make your skin even and luminous overall. Again, brands like Clinique make something like the skin tone corrector. I know Estee Lauder makes a similar product like that, but my personal favorite actually comes from a Japanese brand called Hada. I use their products for about 2 or 3 years now, and I just absolutely adore them. This is the Hada whitening line. It contains a combination of hyaluronic acid and arbutin. Arbutin to brighten up your skin and to help fade any uneven skin tone, and hyaluronic acid to help moisturize and deeply hydrate your skin, which is very important. So these two are, I would say they're my holy grail for keeping your skin bright and luminous and beautiful. Now, second of all, let's talk sunscreen, which is very important. Of course, you can use any old sunscreen, but I prefer to look for sunscreen products that do double duty. Not only do they protect the skin from the sun's rays, but also help to keep your skin from getting tanned unevenly, to keep your skin from developing sunspots and dark marks. So this one I'm currently using is by Sunkiler, and this is SPF 50 PA+++. And not only does it protect my skin from the sun, but it also has skin whitening ingredients to help fade any dark marks, to make sure that I don't tan unevenly, because oftentimes what happens if I use a regular old sunscreen is that my forehead tans more than the rest of my face, so it becomes almost two-toned, and that's a little bit hard to work with. So I certainly prefer products that do double duty. So this is one that I really enjoy. a sunscreen product. Next off, we need to talk about foundation and the base. Once you've got skincare down, you want to think about how to enhance your fair skin. And oftentimes, I think people with fair skin shouldn't be afraid to go a little bit higher up in terms of coverage. Because fair skin tends to be very thin, any type of veins or scarring or whatnot does show up a little bit more than on other skin tones like I mentioned, especially veins. I find dark circles or any sort of I don't know, broken capillaries or things like that, they show up very obviously on my skin, and therefore I tend to look for foundations that have a little bit more coverage. Now, having more coverage doesn't necessarily mean it has to be thick and pasty. One product that I really enjoy is from Lancome. It's actually what I'm wearing on my face today. This is the Lancome Teint foundation. I have reviewed it and I'll put a link to my review down in the information bar. But something like this, which actually has pearlized pigments in it, brings a beautiful luminous glow to the skin, but also it has actually medium buildable coverage. You can build up almost to full coverage, and that's enough to hide anything that you don't want other people to see and that interferes with your beautiful fair skin. So I do prefer this one, but also I'm sure there are other foundations out there that have that great fluid consistency. What you want to look for is obviously a foundation that's fair enough for you, but also you want to look for great textures in foundation products. Just because the foundation is higher in coverage does not mean that it has to be thick or heavy or feel very pasty on your skin. Foundation has come a long way, you know, in the past, I would say maybe 5 years, and there's a lot of great formulations out there. And in fact, there's a lot of great formulations that are coming out right now, which I'm excited to try for myself. So that's a note about foundation, certainly. Also, if you are looking to highlight and contour your face, I know sometimes it can be really hard to look for the right highlighting products for fair skin because you're so pale. Most highlighters don't show up on your skin just at all. You can't see anything. The trick I found with that is to look for highlighters that have a lavender or purpley undertone. When that applies to the skin, it actually brightens up the skin a little bit more and does create a visible highlight. One product I'm using right now is from Etude House. This is their face color core set. They've since reformulated this or changed the name of it, but it is pretty much the same product. You can find it online, and this is a very, very fair lavender highlighter. Has a tiny bit of shimmer in it, but it is not white and it's not too much of a pale pink. It is a very, very, very pale lavender, and I think that works great for fair skin. So look for highlighters or blushers with a little bit of that lavender tinge. I think that looks really great on pale skin. Also, if you are looking for something of a cream highlighter, I really like this one as well. This is from Ben Nye and it's part of their Media Pro line. This is the cream highlight in ultra light, and it's quite fair, actually too fair for me personally, but you can sheer it out a little bit and it does work wonderfully well if you want a cream highlighting product. So that's from Ben Nye. Also, I think you shouldn't be afraid to add a little bit of shimmer to your base products or to your primers or just for highlighting. You can also use a liquid highlighter. This one is from Etude House again. I just happen to be using up a lot of Etude House products recently, but if you twist this open, this is actually a highlighting liquid, which is a very fair pink. And if you pop open the lid right here, there's a cream highlighter in here as well. One of my favorite products is actually the Benefit High Beam, which is a very similar pale pink, slightly shimmery, or, you know, not sparkly, but a shimmery highlighter that has a beautiful, slightly pale, very pale on the borderline of silver, like a sheen to it that looks just fabulous on pale skin. Because you are so pale, you can pull off really, really light shimmery highlighters and they will look just absolutely stunning on fair skin. So this is one I like, as well as the Benefit High Beam. When it comes to blushers, I think fair skin girls shouldn't be afraid to go bright on their blush, but you want to use ones that have very fine texture, that doesn't look heavy or powdery on the skin, and you want to wear it with a light hand, because when you do that, then your skin it really enhances the translucency of your fair skin. So one product I do like for that purpose is the Hard Candy Fox in a Box blusher in Hot Flash. And this one has a beautiful pale sort of medium toned blue base pink in here, a very pale pink in here, a bit of a natural shade in here, but this one is the absolutely most stunning pink I've come across in a long time. This is very, very bright, incredibly pigmented. You just need a tiny touch of this, but blend this over the cheeks, put a little bit of translucent powder over it, and you get that lit from within glow that's really beautiful. Also, if you're looking for something higher end, NARS makes a fabulous blush called Desire, which is a matte color. And this is also something I love to wear when I'm playing up my fair skin. If you are looking for something not quite so bright, if you want to step up a little bit slowly, here's a product from Claire's, which I really love. It is their powder blush in number 80 Raspberry. Give you a closer look right here, and this is not quite as bright as the other two shades, but it's a raspberry color, and I think it's very beautiful on fair skin. So that's a little talk about blush. Lastly, if you are, in terms of base products, if you think that your foundation or whatever that you can find mass-produced on the market isn't fair enough for you, look for foundation adjusters. I know MAC makes them. I know that Face Atelier makes them. A lot of theater brands make them as well. They're almost like a white liquid that have a very translucent base to them, and you can add them to any foundation that you happen to have, and it will lighten that foundation by a shade or two, hopefully then being fair enough for your skin. My favorite is actually the MAC Face and Body in the color white. I think that works fabulously and has a great texture to it. In terms of brows, that's the last thing I want to talk about, but I think it's also very important, especially if you have dark hair and fair skin. When you have very dark brows or you draw them in very heavy, it tends to look quite severe. By all means, if you're really working that dramatic look with thick brows, go ahead, but I think for day to day, I much prefer a lighter brow, especially on fair skin. It just makes your features look softer, make you look more approachable. You want to look for brow products such as a brow powder that blends easily but isn't too pale. You want to have a little bit of depth, but it is a bit softer than using a black. This one is from the Japanese brand Teint, which is what I'm using currently, but you can find them from Anastasia, that's a great brand right there, or just any drugstore eyeshadow, like a matte eyeshadow. You can use that for your brows, but make sure you use a slightly fluffy brush on the tips of your brows and with a slightly firmer brush on the ends to create that very soft but still defined brow shape. If you're looking for brow pencil, my current favorite actually comes from Dior, and this is the Dior Show Brow Styler, which I just absolutely adore right now. It is actually a bit of a brown shade, but it is quite universal, and even though I am fair, it comes off just dark enough but not too dark, and in conjunction with my Kate brow powder, I think these two work great and is exactly what I have on my brows today. So that's my tips and tricks for those of you guys with fair skin. If you're watching this video, if you have your own tips on how to play up your fair skin and what products you like to use to enhance that look, please leave me a comment down below and share with everyone else. I'm sure we'll all love to hear your secret tricks on how to play up naturally fair skin. So I hope that this video was helpful for those of you guys out there, and keep on being beautiful. I'll talk to you later. Bye bye.